Good morning and or afternoon. This video recording is going to go over Langify and will demonstrate how to use Langify to translate your theme, pages, and navigation. So first of all, when we log into our Shopify admin, we're going to want to go into the Langify app. So on the left-hand side, we see the Apps tab. Right in the drop-down here, you don't necessarily see Langify. That's okay, though. If I click on the Apps, this will now in the middle open up all the apps that we have connected to this specific Shopify store. And you'll notice Langify is listed right up here because we've already installed it onto this store. So I'm going to click that and open it and open up the Langify interface. So a couple things that we will notice. So on the left-hand side, we have a menu bar with different items. And again, this video training is going to focus on using the theme, pages, navigation, and the custom tabs here. The reason for that is those are the tabs you're going to use to do translations to the theme, pages, and navigation on your website. The website that we're going to be using as a demonstration is this one here, our demo website. So you'll notice the English, if I go here, everything is in English. And the reason why everything is in English here is because the default language of this website is English. So we're actually translating from English to French because the default language has been set up as English. If I go now to French, some of the translations have been done, and that's because we've already manually done so. But then there are a couple things here that you'll notice, about us, some of the navigation, and then some of the elements here. The text for the elements are still in English. So how do we make those translations? So going back into Langify, the bulk majority of the translations you're going to be doing will be in the theme section right here. So this is what I'm going to click on, theme. So you'll notice in the theme now there's a search function, first of all, right up here. And then there's all these different tabs here. So you'll notice some of them have a question mark next to it. And that's just because all the translations of that section of the theme have been completed. So if I click header, just to show you an example. On the left-hand side, this is the default language, which is English. So this is the default text. So on the right-hand side, this is the translation you'd want to input. And you can either do so manually by typing it in or copy and pasting, or you can use an auto translate single field option by this little arrow here. And we'll get more into that in a little bit. So for example, this is all in the footer, or pardon me, in the header. So for example, where you'd see the text cart normally, we'll go back to English. That would be right over here. If I go to French, it says panier. And the reason why it says panier is because this has been filled out already, right here. So everything that needed to be translated in the header has been done. And that's why, again, you see the check mark next to it. So the big one that we're going to be using today for this demonstration is in the section tab. And a lot of the text that you'll see here, so this text here, the text here, shop beds, mattresses, this is all found in the section tab. So I can go through all of them just to kind of find it. I can use the search function right here as well. So just for example, shop beds. I'm going to use the filter string here. So shop beds. So notice it comes up. Here's the shop beds text and it's blank. And that's why the French version will still say shop beds. So I can write the French text manually, or I can use this auto translate single field option right here. And pay attention to this auto translate right here, 91 words left. So if I go single field, it now says 89 words left. So what this means is you have a total right now of 89 words that you can use this automatic translate function for. After you use these 89 words that are remaining, you would have to pay for the next level of service of Langify. The default and when you sign up for Langify, it doesn't start at 89, it's more than that. I'm just not 100% sure what that total is, but that's something to keep to be mindful of. But of course, if you were to type this in yourself or use translation software and then type it in, that does not count towards this total. This is only if you use this function here. So anyways, so lit de la boutique. I'm not sure it's the best translation, but just for the sake of the presentation, we're going to continue. So I'm going to have to make sure I click save right here in the top right to save any translation I want to now appear on the website. So if I now go back to the website and refresh, sometimes it does take a second or two. So let me just type in a quick reset code. Still nothing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out of here. I'm just going to reopen the store because I want to show you this translation in real time. There you go, lit de la boutique. And it says that because that's what this says up here. So if I X out of shop beds, so you can see all of these need to be translated. So just if you want to find this tech, browse our catalog of rustic. So if I were again to maybe do a search, our catalog, here you go. Again, if I wanted to use the auto translate, save. And again, I won't necessarily refresh 1,000 times, but eventually this that you see here will translate. So the browser catalog rustic beds will translate to what we put it here in the French version of the website. So that would be the same for, the text in here, this popular categories here, the text that you see here, the buttons, featured product, this data right here. All of this would be fine in this themes and section because this is part of the theme. Now we're going to move on to the navigation because it is separate from the section in the theme. And the navigation is everything that you see right up here in the menu bar. And there could, in addition, be some elements that you see here as well in this navigation right here. So you'll notice, for example, meuble living room. So living room is still listed in English, even though the meuble is in French. So again, if I go to now, if I just go down a little bit to navigation, so all of these items here without the check mark need to be translated still. So again, if I just did living room, go, and instead of using the auto translate, I'm going to just do this manually. Saddle. save. And the auto text numbers there that was at 89 originally is not affected because I did it this way. So boom, settle. Again, if I refresh this, you notice this changes now taking effect. And then here you go, salon, as opposed to living room. So that's how you would be to manage the translations of the navigation. Same thing with the content of the pages. So if I go into my About Us page, for example, again, we're on the French version of the website, but the page is still English because the base page was done. The default page was done in English. So again, if I'm going to my Pages tab, now see About Us, it's right here at the top. So I'm going to just go into About Us. And then here's the text. So again, so I still have the 80 words. So propos the new, and then I can enter the translation here. So I'm just going to copy this from another source, and you notice this is now unaffected. Save. Again, it's not exactly what I've translated, it's just to show you the example. So if I do, again, if we refresh and wait a little bit, this change will come into play on this About Us page. So we'll circle back to that. Now you may come across a situation where maybe you're not finding something in the navigation, you're not finding it in the pages, you're not finding it in the themes and the section, you're having trouble finding something, and maybe you've looked through everything that you see here, just it's not making sense, you don't know where to find it. So that does happen sometimes, that Langify isn't necessarily reading something. I know that has happened specifically for these little elements down here in the footer navigation. So how you would actually translate something like that is using the custom tab right down here. So if I open up custom, you see there's already some elements filled out in the global front page, and then there's all these blank ones. But what I'm going to do is, it depends where you need that translation to happen. So if it's something that's applied to the front page only, you would just click this one, apply to all pages. So for example, this main menu, well, this would apply to all my pages, because if I go to financing, it's here. If I go to any page on the website, this main menu appears. So I'm going to actually go to global, and you notice it doesn't necessarily list what I need to be translated here. So this is where I have to actually input it manually. So what I'm going to do on the right-hand corner over here, there's these three dots. So I can click Add New Custom Content. So I'm going to do copied and pasted main menu, and I'm going to click Save. So here, anywhere where it says main menu, I'm going to use the auto translate, and I'm going to click Save. And again, I'm not sure how many times I will need to refresh. Oh, just the one time. But you'll notice here you go. Now it says menu principal. So that is how you make the translation to a custom item on the website. So that concludes our video. If you have any additional questions, please contact service@tailbase.com.